for joining. I come to you with not great news. The market has changed, as you know, and we have to move with it in order to survive so that hopefully we can continue to thrive and deliver on a mission. This isn't news that you're going to want to hear, but ultimately it was my decision, and I wanted you to hear from me. It's been a really, really challenging decision to make. This is the second time in my career I'm doing this, and I do not want to do this. The last time I did it, I cried. This time I hope to be stronger. But we are laying off about 15% of the company.
You gotta
market,
be kidding me.
Efficiency and performances and productivity.
All we did for the company?
If you're on this call, you are part of the unlucky group being laid off. Your employment here is terminated effective immediately. What does this mean for what's next? You're going to get an email from HR, askhr@better.com, and your benefits. For all U.S. employees, we're providing 4 weeks.
This is not real. Oh my God, I can't believe this.
1 month of full benefits and 2 months of COBRA, for which we will pay the premium. So 3 months total benefits if you elect for COBRA.
This is not real. Oh,
Thank you for each and every one of your individual contributions to Better. I wish the news was different. I wish we were thriving enthusiastically as we were at the beginning of this year. That's not the case. And I am sure you will leave us and
this is not
be
real.
more successful, more fortunate,
after all we did,
luckier in your next endeavor.
This is very real. Sorry, but it's you. You out there. You're the leftovers. You're being laid off from life. And this is the American Council for Truth and Journalism. We appreciate you showing up. Got to do the like, share, subscribe for some reason. Not really sure why. But it's Monday. And it's the 6th of December. And Lou's here.
Hello.
How do you feel about being fired there?
Reminds me of the time Scuttlebutt, used to rub my legs. And then I became the president. I don't know. I'm good.
You're the president?
I'm good, dog. Being fired sucks. The mandate sucks. If you're referring to the mandates and vaccines and people not being able to get jobs, it's bad here, but it's terrible everywhere.
This had nothing to do with that. This was from a real estate company, Better.com. They set up mortgages, and they did a 15% layoff. Why do you suppose a mortgage company is doing a 15% layoff right now? I'm sure it's because all the employees are trash.
No, it's. I wonder if it has something to do with either interest or the mortgage lending. Maybe they see something in the horizons, maybe like a crash. Maybe.
Yeah, I think it's getting to be pretty obvious at this point. I did see something, and I don't know if we had that loaded up. It's interesting running this, just us two. But I did see something, and I didn't get it loaded up. But it was like a fear index, right? Comparatively. And so just the same time last month, the greed index, which is where people are like buying everything, and they're like, the market's going to go up forever. It's going to be awesome. The greed index was at 71. And it dropped down to a fear index of 15 in the course of a month.
In the course of a month?
Yeah, on a scale of 100.
Now, how have this administration, how have they spun this as the greatest thing since sliced bread.
Well, they don't even worry about that. I mean, that's market stuff for people that are doing trades. Basically, they're going to look at that and they decide how much FUD is going on. So fear, uncertainty, and doubt. That's what we're dealing with right here. We're just the leftovers. Look, you got people dropping dead left and right. It's a pretty wonderful time right now.
It's funny that you used that title today, because when all of this happened and I thought I was going to do my victory lap, I was like, right. I told y'all, and I'm like starting to warm up, getting ready to jog around, and everybody's like changes. And I was like, all right. So I started this group called the COVID Leftovers, because that's what it's going to be. They're going to kill us off, and there's going to be a few people that are left over that never bought into it. And I think the elephant in the room has to be the fact that the people that are unvaccinated are still not dying. And I finally figured out this key to this puzzle, where they kept on saying that the unvaxxed have a higher rate. And basically what they were saying is, let me see if I can actually pull it up. Go ahead and talk for a second. I need to gather my thoughts here on this.
Gather your thoughts. You don't have time to gather your thoughts, Lou.
I kind of do.
It's just you and me, babe.
I know. That's
all that's left. I guess we could talk about de Blasio a little bit and how he announced stricter requirements involved with all this today. He came out, and I think it was he went on the Morning Joe show. What a nice little thing for him to do, but he went on the Morning Joe show. And is this the right one? Yeah, this is the right one.
We in New York City have decided to use a preemptive strike to really do something bold to stop the further growth of COVID and the dangers it's causing to all of us. So as of today, we're going to announce a first-in-the-nation measure. Our health commissioner will announce a vaccine mandate for private sector employers across the board. All private sector employers in New York City will be covered by this vaccine mandate as of December 27th. We're going to have some other measures as well to really focus on maximizing vaccination quickly so we can get ahead of Omicron and all the other challenges we're facing right now.
And it's like we said, we might as well leave this up here. I'd just like to remind everybody about the absolute risk reduction of these vaccines. I was looking at it again today because I was encouraging a friend of mine who seems to have come down with the coof to look into the forbidden horse paste. And I was showing her that the absolute risk reduction of the horse paste when it comes to getting rid of the coof is 11%. Now, even in the best case of scenarios, right, the vaccine right here, as you can see, what's the best one? The AstraZeneca, it's got a 1 to 3% absolute risk reduction. Now, to translate that for everybody, it does jack shit for you.
Right.
Does jack shit.
And my friend here, Ann Stone, I don't know who the fuck that is, but she also kind of refreshed what I was talking about, and this whole thing about
what, the ignorance.
Well, yeah, about the
like a refresher of ignorance. It's like,
well, no, this is the thing. It's like, okay, the unvax versus the vax, and what they're saying is that it's the asymptomatic spread is that it stops. It doesn't stop any of the other transmission, just the asymptomatic spread. Now, the asymptomatic spread, though, is complete bullshit from the get-go. So it's never been a real thing. And so now what they're saying is that COVID is the vaccine stops the asymptomatic spread of it. That's what they're saying. And you can go look that up. I finally because I was like, how are they claiming this? How are they able to claim this? And this is what they're saying. They're saying that
it's the same way. It's the same way that they claim. It's the same way they claim 95% effectiveness against a virus that there's less than a 3% rate of death. Yeah, right back at you, you cunt. So, that's all you're going to be able to do. You can't show facts to these people. They don't care because, again, she's over there saying, fuck you, you Nazi, because she's a fucking cunt. But the reality is it's right here, you cunt. It's right there. It's right there.
So they lied to you. So basically, this is the lie. They said that it was 95% effective, but that wasn't the absolute effectiveness, efficacy, but the
right,
absolute
that's the relative risk reduction.
Right, which means nothing in science, and they always known that. They've always known that it means nothing. So they always make sure that they give you the absolute reduction.
But that's the thing. They're gonna shove it into the soft, mushy skulls of all these fucking cunts out there, and they'll eat it up, and they'll be dead in a couple of years anyways. So it doesn't really matter. I mean, we've spent so much time on this show, not being anti-vaxxers, but they went ahead and fuck that guy too. Fuck Trump. So, what are you going to do? It is what it is. I have done everything I can to try to tell people about this since the get-go. We had sources come on this show from 3-letter agencies that investigated the goddamn disease and told us that it came from the lab long before it was allowed to be said on YouTube or any of these other platforms that have now censored any of the truth. So, I'm frustrated with the whole thing. It's a fucking joke. I'm watching my friends get hurt. I've had friends that, had appendectomies and all sorts of shit, heart attacks after this stupid fucking shot. I'm just over it.
That's the cold weather, though.
I'm fucking over it.
That's the cold weather, dog. That's the cold. No, they have winter vagina now for their regular periods. They got, the cold. Even though we know that a cold, I think the Russians do this, they take cold baths because it does so much for your vascular system, but now all of a sudden it's causing blood clots and people are eating this shit up. They just don't care anymore. They don't care anymore. They eat it up.
Well, and it's funny because, when it was all saying this and that, and, it was only going to be one shot and blah, 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 blah. And speaking of cunts, we've got, did that one make it in?
I think it did.
I can't find it. Oh, here's a cunt.
We've got work to do. I don't think I'll ever be satisfied so long as there's someone who is eligible and hasn't been. And that's why I've said this. There's not going to be an endpoint to this vaccination program.
So get over it. Anybody who's taken the shots, guess what? You're going to be taking one, if you're lucky, every 3 months. But now when we see what it's doing to people's immune systems and you have no immune system after 3 months, you're going to be taking a shot every month. They're going to come out with another variant all the time. And they're going to say, oh my God, it's the new variant. And it's going to continue to affect the vaccinated. They're going to lock your ass in your house and you're a nice little compliant sheep. So you'll do whatever the fuck they say because you don't think for yourself because you're stupid.
I would say, that's exactly right. It's I tried and I've tried to not get personal with these people where it's okay, this is just a battle of wits. This is a battle of logic. This is a battle of rationale. It's not like we're talking about Mother Teresa here, which is also a cunt, but we're not talking about someone who has a reputation of doing good. We're talking about pharmaceutical companies here. We're talking about the big bad. I mean, they've written fucking movies about how shitty these people are.
And while we're talking about those cunts, that's a great lead in, Lou, because you've got the video right here of the cunt. For anybody who doesn't know, this guy's the boss man of BioNTech, right, Lou?
That is right.
You and your wife, Dr. Tuichi, you play such a central role in the development of the virus, I have heard that you yourself have not taken the vaccine yet. Why not?
So I am legally not allowed to take the vaccine at the moment. We of course consider to make that possible. It is more important for us that our co-workers and partners get vaccinated. So our goal is to produce more than 1.3 billion doses in 2021, and that can only be done if we can really continue to work 24/7 without any interruption. And we need to ensure that that we protect the co-workers and our team members from COVID-19 infection, because that would mean interruption and delay and waste of vaccine doses, and therefore we consider to make an extra batch independent from the European contingent available to collaboration partners who are supporting us and to our team members.
But I understand why are you not legally allowed to take the vaccine?
Because you know that there is a priority. The vaccine is not allowed to be taken outside of this priority list. And what is also important, we were even not allowed to participate in clinical trials because per law it is not possible to include company people into such trials, which is really fine. But now we have to deal with the more important challenge that we need to ensure functionality of our whole company, of our teams, and therefore this is needed. And I think we will find a legal and fair solution for that.
That is Savanda as a doomsday machine. These motherfuckers out here that say we're spreading Fox News lies, they've obviously never watched Dr. Strangelove. They don't know the first thing about Nazis, because if they did, they would recognize a literal fucking Nazi when they're talking to you and they're shoving a needle into your children and fucking exterminating you, you fucking idiot.
Yeah, and how is that Fox News Live when you were really going straight to the horse's fucking mouth? Now, wait, let me say this, though. He said in there an extra batch of the vaccine. That extra batch has been proven to not work against the Omicron. So what the fuck is he even talking about? There's no rationale in any of what he just said. Now, let me just get to the real good shit.
Well, you know.
Let me get...
Scientists have done things which nobody's ever done before. Yeah, but your scientists were so preoccupied with whether or not they didn't stop to think if they should.
Go ahead.
Well, the really good thing that comes out of that is the guy presses him and he's like, no. Why are you not legally allowed? And he says, because we're not allowed to use company employees for a trial. Now, we've been saying this is an experimental jab. You can't say that.
You can't say that because then they go, oh, we got to trust the science. We got to trust the science, or and all this. It's fucking retarded and quite frank.
Jack's complete lack of surprise.
Is this a bad time to bring up Operation Paperclip? I think it is. It's probably an inappropriate time to bring up.
I mean, you can always talk about it. Well, let's kind of lead into Operation Paperclip a little bit, if I can get my computer to cooperate with me here.
Well,
why is Steve Bannon? Anyway, I was getting raped by Steve Bannon. Sorry. Jake Tapper. Old Jakey boy.
That Simpsons episode in Hong Kong disappeared like Peng Shui. Disappeared like citizen journalist Zhang Jian, whom the Chinese government has locked up for telling the truth about COVID-19. Disappeared like the consciences of the millionaires and billionaires in Hollywood and the NBA and the IOC and Wall Street are all so eager for Chinese cash. They are pretending none of this is happening. There is no amount of money that can buy enough soap to wash that blood off their hands.
You know, a funny little tidbit is Jake Tapper's head actually spins and then a whole new face starts saying completely opposite shit. It's funny. It's a funny little fact.
That's really what I saw there as well. You know, it's pretty bizarre, considering CNN, and the fine people they have.
On Friday, I was about to go get dinner for my kids when Donald Trump Jr. attacked me in his speech at CPAC. Something about me looking like a gender-neutral potato head.
They're really the cream of the crop over there between Tubin over there jacking off on a Zoom call and Cuomo going around and fucking raping people with his brother and then go using the power of CNN to go after these people for his brother. They got a real good crew over there at CNN, let me tell you.
And the thing is like with a Tubin type of guy, it's like they have coached these people into these positions that when they have to lose one, it's big for them, because, to pay a liar so good, it's hard for them to just let that go. So that's why with Cuomo, they were going to indefinitely suspend him until your dumbass forgot about it. And then they were going to bring his ass back because he was actually the highest rated guy there. So he was getting at least 350 views a night. And the thing is with Cuomo is that people started investigating and started putting it out there so that they couldn't just bring him back, and they had to actually fire him. And I'm sure they'll bring him back at some point in some other capacity. But now let's get back into this Operation Paperclip, because China, Russia, America, eventually Israel, they all got the Nazi scientist.
Yeah.
Werner von Braun was a Nazi scientist that we brought over here.
It's okay, Lou. But see, the thing is that as we've seen this roll on, it's just like, you know, whoever the cunt was in the comments, and you know, she throws around this word Nazi, but she has no understanding of it. You know, and again, it needs to be stated that when it comes to companies like Pfizer, like Merck, you know, I've spoken with people who are executives with the company at very high levels, and I was always told that they did shady things and that they were run by actual Nazis. And I remember asking the question at the time. I said, "What the fuck do you mean, actual Nazis?" And my friend and they told me, they said, like, really, they're Nazis. When you go to their parties, they have Nazi regalia, and this is what they do. This is the history of eugenics. Yes. This is what they do. They want to kill people, especially black people.
Yes. And it's all this ethnicity and all this dumb shit. But, you know, she brings up a really good point because, you know, after I just brought up the fact that Operation Paperclip is a real thing that they exposed 40 years after the fact, you know, about scientists, you know, going from there, never really facing any consequences, and then moving into these other positions in all of these other allied countries, and then also China, you know, this is a great point. This is a fucking great rebuttal to that, is that I'm going to die a fucking virgin. Fuck.
It's funny. It's one of those things where, you know, maybe virginity wouldn't be so bad when you've got sloppy cunts like that running around. You know, that's what it is. So what are you gonna do? Moving on though.
Sure.
The Black Book was pretty fun today in the Epstein trial, wasn't it? Or no, sorry, it's not Epstein, it's Ghislaine.
Yeah.
But you know, the little Black Book came up, and I thought it was funny when we talk about this whole, you know, vaccine business, that one of the biggest champions of anti-vaccine thought over the years, long before this gene therapy ever came along, is Bobby Kennedy Jr. And his name and his wife's name were right in there, just right along with the rest of them, Donald Trump and the rest of these sacks of shit.
Which is, you know, par for course. Like I said, they're all agents of chaos. And I would not be surprised if he is down, because you're not a Kennedy. You know, like the Kennedys were not, like John F. Kennedy did a really badass thing, but he was put in that position because of who his dad was, who his brothers were. They were all criminals. They were all,
it's all gangster shit. I mean, and that's the history of the United States of America. If you want to make it in this country, you got to do some gangster shit. That's just a fact of life. You know, sometimes you get caught, sometimes you don't. And there is a difference between kind of your kind of normal run-of-the-mill criminals and then these psychotic motherfuckers that want to kill everybody and rape children. You know, so that's kind of the difference that we're seeing with all of this.
Right. It's interesting. People that don't really listen to us, and they just, you know, they want it so bad that we are the bad guys. They want us to be the bad guys so fucking bad.
Well, everybody has to blame something on something. It's pretty fucking ridiculous.
Well, here's my thing, though.
I should be prosecuted.
But here's my thing, though, is that I've been talking about this shit since 1998. I've been on this vaccine shit.
I know, Lou. And what do you want, a medal?
No. But when I found out about this in 2000,
you're going to get a medal. You're going to get a red badge of courage. You ever read that book? Interesting.
No, I will now, though. I'm writing it down.
Yeah, you should write that book down. You're going to get a red badge of courage, Lou. For all of your troubles. Look, that's the thing. You know, if you recall, sometime around August of last year, I made a little video where I explained, you know, the numbers. And I can't remember exactly what they were. It was, you know, this many percent, that many percent, you know, that love to suck. Okay, so there's a percentage that loves to suck dick. You know, they don't even have to like be coaxed into it. They're going to get down. They're just going to suck the dick. Other people are going to ask, why do you want me to suck the dick? They're not going to do it right off. And they're just going to say it's for your own good. It's for your safety. And they'll say, oh, okay. And they'll get down and suck the dick. And then there's another percentage, you know, roughly, you know, 10% that says, you know, we're not going to suck the dick. Fuck it. You're not going to make me suck the dick. You know, eventually they'll starve. They won't be able to get a job. They won't be able to feed their children. So they'll get down and they'll suck the dick. And then last but not least, there's probably about 9%. 9% mandates won't work for, the bribes won't work for, the coercion won't work for, the threats won't work for. None of it will work. You're going to die. Cheers. And that's how you get your red badge of courage. And that's the thing, is that when it comes to all of this, you know, people like you and me, Lou, we've already made up our minds. So when people start threatening us with all this shit, it's really easy.
My soul is prepared. How's yours?
You know, it's people forget somehow that the tyrants have always used the greater good as the reason, as the mask to bring in totalitarianism or authoritarianism. And everybody's like, just wear the mask. It's not that inconvenient. Now let's talk about the Jewish people that were in that place. They asked them to wear a patch just to identify themselves, right? That's not that fucking inconvenient, is it? Is wearing a patch that inconvenient? But what did it lead to? What did it lead to? It led to their.
It didn't matter what it led to. The real point is to separate society. This is why they've pushed the Black Lives Matter movement against the white supremacist movement, which is really just nationalism. And they've pushed this fight. And then when that didn't work anymore, then they push into this. The reality is, though, is a lot of people are waking up to what's going on. And I still take that as a ray of hope in all of this. I mean, we've talked about some of the more interesting things, and you and I both have had kind of an interesting journey from atheism to kind of accepting that there might be some more supernatural powers in the universe. But then you get a cocksucker like the Pope.
Uno dire, io credo in Dio, credo in Gesù, ma la Chiesa non mi interessa. Quante volte abbiamo sentito questo? Questo non va. C'è chi ritiene di poter avere un rapporto personale, diretto, immediato con Gesù Cristo, al di fuori della comunione e della meditazione della Chiesa. Sono tentazioni pericolose, sono tentazioni dannose, sono, come diceva il grande Paolo VI, dicotomie assurde.
What a cunt. At what point does this fucking piece of shit think that it's a good idea for him to be somewhere in between as an intermediary between me and my creator?
Yeah.
That's fucking absurd. And this is the same sort of attitude these people have, where they have this esoteric, this great knowledge. They know so much more than you. I'm the only one who can read a book.
Oh, remember when the Pope was blessing Hitler? Remember when he was like, Hitler's the best fucking thing since sliced bread, people. Let's jump aboard. Remember
and everybody was on board with that. Yeah, Christianity, Nazis, let's all get together to kill Jews, black people, and gays. That's really what it's all about for these motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what they like to do. They like to kill Jews, black people, gays. Who else is on the list? Gypsies. They like to kill gypsies. And really, at this point, under this global thing that they have, they just want to kill everybody.
Let me ask you this. If the Soviet Union was so bad, right?
Yeah.
Why is the European Union okay? What's the difference between those two systems?
Not much. I mean, social democratic values have kind of taken over. It's just what they call things so that they can control people. They just change the names, but in the end, they just want power. They just want control. And it's no different than Prince Chucky saying what he said, so, what are you going to do?
And it's, their currency is your compliance. God damn, that was good. I'm going to tweet that.
Pretty good. I think we're good. This is always good to play because Nuremberg is important.
The wrongs which we seek to condemn and punish have been so calculated, so malignant and so devastating that civilization cannot tolerate their being ignored.